Stand by. ये टाइप छोटी हो रही है आपकी मूसा, थोड़ी छोटी हो रही है, यानी नीचे से ना शेड दिख रही है आपकी। हाँ, अब थोड़ी बेहतर है। चलिए स्टैंड बाय। नहीं, मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा। स्टैंड बाय। जी जी जी। सब फास्ट हो गया।
Use continuous in a moment, keep watching Express 24/7.
थोड़ा मिक्स अप, थोड़ा राइट पर।
Let's walk around the back and forth, the top dark, stay long, keep watching Express 24/7.
पानी पियोगे? कब आती चाय? आ गई जाओ देख करो, आ गई होगी चाय, जल्दी जाके लेकर आओ। अब आपको स्लाइड को दिखाते हैं।
Welcome back to the City Look at News in Detail. US President Donald Trump says he calls strikes on Iran to give diplomacy another chance, but warned that strong military action will resume if negotiations fail. In an interview with Axios, Donald Trump said the current negotiations are aimed at reopening the Strait of Hormuz and restarting talks on a comprehensive nuclear deal. Trump added he is giving diplomacy only limited time, saying either it goes fast or not at all. Discussions are being led mainly by Iran and Oman, with Pakistan, Qatar, Egypt, and US envoys also involved. Regional mediators say Pakistan and Qatar have advanced efforts to bring the United States and Iran back to the negotiating table after both sides paused attacks. According to international media, two Middle East officials said the mediators are working to narrow differences between Washington and Tehran with the immediate aim of restoring an interim ceasefire that collapsed after heavy exchanges of fire over the past 2 weeks. Meanwhile, US Ambassador to United Nations Mike Waltz told Fox News that Trump is giving diplomacy some space as negotiations continue. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister says that Iran has rejected two extreme US demands during negotiations in Islamabad. According to Iranian state Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister says Tehran rejected two extreme US demands during negotiations in Islamabad. According to Iran state media, Deputy Foreign Minister Qasem Gharibabadi said US delegation told Iran that negotiations would fail if demands were not accepted. Gharibabadi said that Iran rejected the conditions and responded by telling the American side to go back. Gharibabadi did not specify what two demands were or provided further details about the talks in Islamabad. U.S. Central Command says the USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. is patrolling the Arabian Sea in support of United States blockade against Iran. In a post on X, CENTCOM confirmed the destroyer is conducting operations to support enforcement measures linked to the blockade, claiming U.S. forces have redirected 17 commercial vessels, disabled 2, and boarded 2 others to ensure compliance. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Bagheri has addressed US-Iran tensions, saying that Iran's decisions on the war will be based on its national interests. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Bagheri said the United States was struck and struggling following an unprovoked attack on Iran. He said Washington has created the situation it was now facing and was struggling after the escalation. Bagheri said US had expected Iran to collapse and surrender within 3 days after the war began, but claimed that after months America remained stuck in this place. He added that Iran's decisions on the war would depend on national interests and said Washington returns to negotiations when global energy prices rise. Iran's army is issuing a stark warning, drawing even tougher response to any future attacks as tensions with US and Israel remain unresolved. Marking the anniversary of Operation Mercer, Iran's army said it remains more vigilant than ever, wanting to respond more severely to future aggression while defending its independence and territorial integrity. First Vice President Mohammad Reza Aref separately warned of a retaliatory operation he called Mercer 2 potential. Iran says it has intervened after a maritime incident involving several vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, blaming recent tensions on US actions. According to Iran's media, 6 ships attempted to pass through an illegal and unsafe route in south of Strait of Hormuz after turning off their navigation systems. One vessel suffered an accident, while the others returned to Persian Gulf under decisive Iranian management. Iran's officials said the incident occurred earlier today after the vessels were provoked by the US. A new survey reveals that 3 in 4 Americans believe the ongoing war with Iran has proven far more challenging than White House anticipated. According to a CBS News and Bloomberg poll, 76% of respondents say the conflict is harder than expected, with 58% reporting feelings of uncertainty. As frustration and pessimism grows among the public, only 22% believe Iran holds the advantage, while 40% still see the US in a stronger position. Questions are mounting over White House's Middle East strategy after US President Donald Trump abruptly suspended a to-be bombing campaign against Iran over the weekend. According to U.S. officials, claimed Iran is begging for a deal. Iranian officials deny requesting new peace talks. Meanwhile, fresh drone attacks in Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Iraq today. Foreign reports that military commanders warned the president that US was running out of targets and running low on air defense positions. Ukraine's foreign minister has rejected Iran's claims of being a victim after an alleged attack on Iranian vessel in the Caspian Sea, according to Tehran, accusing Tehran of supporting Russia's war. In a post on X, Foreign Ministry Andriy Sybiha said Iran has supplied Russia with weapons used in the war against Ukraine since 2022 and therefore has no standing to portray itself as a victim. He also accused Iran of trying to divert attention from Russia's attacks on civilian shipping with Black Sea. Mr. Knox came after Iran claimed Ukraine attacked one of its commercial vessels in the Caspian Sea and condemned the incident as an act of Russia. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Ismail Bagheri has responded to Ukraine's position on Iran, calling the move illegal and a violation of international law. Speaking to reporters, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Ismail Bagheri described Ukraine's stance as a dangerous maneuver and said Tehran would have the right to respond. Bagheri added that since the beginning of Russia-Ukraine conflict, Iran has maintained that it had no intention to intervene in the dispute. Ukraine's President Donald Zelensky arrives in the United Kingdom for talks with UK's Prime Minister Andy Burnham. In a post on X, Zelensky said his visit is aimed at deepening bilateral cooperation, with discussions set to focus on air defense, maritime security, and joint defense production. He is also due to meet Ukrainian troops training in UK, including personnel who participated in the sea breeze military exercises. Zelensky also said Britain remains one of Ukraine's closest allies and a reliable partner in supporting.
यार इधर आओ यार, मुझसे एक बात पूछ रहे थे।
जैसे बता रहे हो इधर वास्ता ये देखिए वहाँ पे अब इस पे आइए ना वहाँ क्यों नहीं करना इसके पानी लगा लो
क्या बात तेरे तो उसका मसला सुनाया, तो यहाँ पे खड़ा हो गया मसला उल्टा उसकी तरफ कहते हैं।
उसका मसला नहीं होगा चले आओगे तीन दिन बनना फिर तो कोई और हल होगा आपका मुश्किल हल एक लग
Stand by. Stand by. 4, 3, alert.
we'll see how this all comes out. They want your taxes to go up. They want men playing in women's sports. They want open border for the world's criminals to pour into our country. And despite all of that, we have the lowest crime rate in the history of our country since 1900 with murders. With all of that, with all of the 25 million people, many of them criminals that the Democrats let in. Well, they just announced this morning they want an open border policy where the world's criminals can pour into our country. I think they're crazy. There's something wrong with them. Any other questions?
On China, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said last week the administration is going to look into whether Chinese AI models are distinct from U.S. models. Do you think China's stealing American IP?
Well, they're looking at us and we're looking at them. But we're leading now, China, substantially in AI, and we're going to keep it that way. We're leading everybody in everything. We have a country that's doing well. Thank you very much, everybody. See you in Michigan.
Stand by.
जिप से आ रहा है
बोले आम जाओ आम
Welcome back. Newly released footage appears to show U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham discussing regional military strategy with Benjamin Netanyahu during a phone call. The footage shows Graham telling Netanyahu he intended to encourage Trump to support Israeli military strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon. According to recording, Netanyahu advised against opening another military front, while Israel remained focused on Iran, saying action against Hezbollah could be taken at a later stage. Graham agreed with the assessment, describing it as a good counsel. The authenticity of the footage and circumstances surrounding its release have not been independently verified. Saudi Arabia and Oman have discussed maritime security in the Gulf, focusing on freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan and Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busari reviewed regional and international developments and exchanged views on issues of mutual concerns. The minister stressed the importance of safeguarding international waterways, ensuring freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, and supporting efforts to enhance regional security. Iran also said it continued discussions with Oman over the safe passage of ships through the strategic market. Saudi Arabia says it has intercepted drones launched from Iran that targeted key oil facilities in the eastern region and Riyadh, marking further escalation in regional tensions. In a statement on X, Saudi Defense Ministry spokesman Major General Turki al-Maliki said air defenses intercepted and destroyed several drones over the past few hours. He says the drones were launched from Iraqi territory by Iranian-backed militias, adding that Saudi Arabia reserves the right to respond at a time and place of its choosing. A senior Houthi official says the group will continue striking Saudi economic and military targets until the blockade on Yemen is lifted. In an interview with Chinese media, advisor Yemen's Houthi Supreme Political Council said that Houthis will keep targeting Saudi oil facilities, airports and ports until restrictions on Yemen, including the closure of airports and political blockade, is ended. He also warned that when the United States launches military operations against the group, the Houthis would retaliate by targeting US interested ships and aircraft carriers in the Middle East. Houthis in Yemen claim to have launched drone strikes targeting Saudi Arabia's crude oil transport routes connecting its eastern region to Yemen. Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Sari says the drones targeted sensitive crude oil supply and transport sites linking eastern Saudi Arabia to Red Sea city of Yemen. He says the operation was carried out in response to what the group described as Saudi drone incursions. There has been no immediate confirmation from Saudi authorities. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has accused Israel of committing a direct violation of human rights through its continued military assault on southern Lebanon. Following talks with UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk, Aoun said Israel's destruction of homes and bulldozing of villages in southern Lebanon amounted to a flagrant breach of international law. He also accused Israel of targeting religious and heritage sites, saying the attacks revealed premeditated intentions against both people and stock, noting that sites are neither military nor opposed to any armed presence. Aoun reaffirmed Lebanon's commitment to framework formula, but warned that continued Israeli actions would undermine it.
थोड़ा पीछे पीछे पीछे
Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara says Syria is seeking a multi-country security agreement with Israel which would pave the way for comprehensive peace. In an interview with Al Jazeera, al-Shara said the deal would not compromise Syria's claim to Golan Heights, seized by Israel in 1967. He says a successful security agreement would open the way for broader peace talks, but stresses that Syria will not compromise its claim to the occupied Golan Heights and that Syria is avoiding any confrontation with Israel. The United Arab Emirates slammed violent Israeli settler attacks in the occupied West Bank, demanding that Israel immediately hold those responsible accountable. UAE's foreign ministry strongly condemned the arson attack on a mosque in Tulkarem, describing such acts as highly provocative, inciting, and extremist. It held the Israeli government fully responsible and warned that failure to punish those responsible would only deepen hatred, racism, and instability in the region. Meanwhile, Israeli occupation army carried out fresh aggressive raids in Milan, west of Ramallah, and Beita, south of Kudus, continuing last week's military plan. And now for national news. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to deepening its strategic cooperative partnership with China following the high-level meeting in Islamabad. Joined by senior cabinet officials, Prime Minister met with Chinese Ambassador Jiang Zedong to review bilateral agreement and vision of developments across South Asia and Middle East. Reaffirming Beijing's unwavering support, the Chinese envoy called Pakistan an iron brother, pledging continued backing for a nation's sovereignty and economy. high-level US congressional delegation has praised Pakistan's critical role in regional stability and economic resilience during the key meeting. The Field Marshal Said Asim Munir at GHQ in Rawalpindi. US House Representatives Ran Zinke and Michael James commended Pakistan's ongoing economic reforms and strategic contributions, highlighting the country's vast investment potential. Field Marshal Asim Munir emphasized that long-term regional stability depends on economic growth, trade expansion, and stronger connectivity. Both sides expressed a shared commitment to deepening bilateral trade, expanding private sector partnership, and reinforcing institutional ties between Washington and Islamabad. General Syed Amir Raza has officially assumed charge as Commander National Strategic Command during a formal ceremony at General Headquarters. Upon his arrival, General Syed Amir Raza received the Guard of Honor before laying the floral wreath at Yadgar-e-Shahada to honor the martyrs. Following the ceremony, newly appointed commander met with Field Marshal Asim Munir, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Forces, who extended his congratulations on the key appointment. Defense Minister Khwaja Asif has fight back at his Indian counterpart, rejecting recent remarks on Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir as an attempt to distort internationally recognized facts. In a statement on X, Asif said India's intimidation and threatening rhetoric cannot alter the dispute.
ऐसा पीछे देखो, पीछे पीछे आगे बताइए हेडरूम कटेगा थोड़ा मेरा वॉक करिए.
Defense Minister Khwaja Asif has fired back at his Indian counterpart, rejecting recent remarks on Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir as an attempt to distort internationally recognized facts. In a statement on X, Asif said India's intimidation and threatening rhetoric cannot alter the disputed status of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, insisting its future must be decided under UN Security Council resolutions and the will of Kashmiri people. He dismissed India's allegations against Pakistan as unreliable, calling India the largest state sponsor of terrorism in South Asia. Asif highlighted that New Delhi is holding the region hostage through aggressive expansionist designs, while affirming Pakistan remains committed to peace and negotiations. Kuwaiti Foreign Minister Sheikh Jarrah Jabir Ahmed Al Sabah is set to visit Pakistan on an official two-day trip from July 28 to 29 at the invitation of Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Senator Mohammed Saqaf. During the two-day visit, Kuwaiti Foreign Minister Sheikh will hold delegation-level talks with the Saqaf about the full spectrum of Pakistan-Kuwait bilateral relations, with both sides exploring ways to further strengthen cooperation and exchanging views on regional as well as international issues. Sheikh Jarrah is also scheduled to meet Pakistan's top leadership during the visit. Finance Minister Senator Muhammad Aurangzeb says Pakistan has entered a period of sustainable economic growth powered by reforms, rising exports, and private sector-led investment. Addressing participants at the Iran Overseas Pakistani Summer Scholar Program in Islamabad, Muhammad Aurangzeb said the country's stronger sovereign credit profile and successful return to international capital markets reflect growing global confidence in Pakistan's economic direction. Finance Minister also highlighted the establishment of Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority to promote innovation in digital finance. He urged overseas Pakistani scholars to support the country's economic development while reaffirming government's commitment to creating greater opportunities for young people. National Cybercrime Investigation Agency has arrested 14 suspects in Lahore and Multan during a major crackdown on online financial fraud. According to NCCIA, the suspects posed as Merit Bureau representatives, friends, and officials from customs, police, banks, and other government agencies to scam citizens through social media and WhatsApp. Authorities said the group used fake prize offers, donation requests, bank verification messages, and past clearance schemes to deceive victims. During the raids, authorities seized mobile phones, SIM cards, fake social media accounts, and other digital evidence. Cases have been registered under the PACA Act 2016 and Pakistan Penal Code, while investigations remain underway. People. Being a signal. Are you?
It's not backup, it's speaker.
आप distract कर रहे हैं मुझको. The false narrative of India's victory in Kargil comes in the form of snow-capped peaks of Kargil, Dras, Batalik, and the Mushko Valley, where the Indian military was mercilessly exposed. Kashmiri freedom fighters occupied Indian posts vacated since February and gained dominance over the Srinagar-Leh highway at heights of over 16,000 feet, choking New Delhi's supply lifeline to Ladakh and Siachen. Despite its extensive intelligence network, India was thrown into panic after reports from shepherds between May 3 and May 5. Under Operation Vijay, it deployed more than 30,000 troops, artillery, and air power, yet attack after attack failed. When forces finally reached Toluling and Tiger Hill, they paid in rivers of blood. Pakistan Army responded with devastating precision. Colonel Sher Khan repeatedly led counter-attacks, destroyed numerous Indian positions, and attained martyrdom between July 5 to 7. A routine restoration project in Karachi just turned into a genuine archaeological mystery to ancient statues unearthed beneath Neel Mountain. Workers discovered the intact statues during Karachi Metropolitan Corporation restoration work in the Old City area, prompting officials to launch a full expert review. Mayor Murtaza Wahab says archaeologists will assess the statues' age and authenticity, with cultural authorities also checking for similarities to previously discovered subcontinent artifacts. Excavation is now proceeding cautiously in case more pieces of history remain buried within the site. और कैसे गया अभी नगर की बात करिए Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Zuberi watching Express 24/7 now in news headlines. That's all for the headlines. We'll be right back after a short break. Keep watching Express 24/7. Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Zuberi watching Express 24/7 now in news headlines.